taxing the poor is the last gasp of a dying empire. Nothing good comes from it. And now Democrats say taxing the poor is exactly what Republicans want to do. Some of Congress's most conservative Republicans just proposed a nationwide sales tax to replace the IRS. The FairTax Act would do away with income, payroll, estate, and gift taxes. It would eliminate funding for the IRS after 2027. Instead, the national sales tax would rise to 23%. That is the national sales tax plus state and local sales taxes. Republican Congressman Bob Good, one of the co-sponsors of the bill, and joins us now. Look, I'm totally with you. Eliminating the IRS polls very, very well. We can all agree on that. But really, we want everybody in America to pay 23% sales tax?
Well, what it will do is it's a fair tax. It's a transparent tax. You know, our tax system now is so complex. Most people don't understand it. The federal government can raise taxes and people don't necessarily see it. Everyone sees what the tax rate is when it's 23%, and it doubles the number of taxpayers, essentially. Right now, you've got about 160 million taxpayers in the United States. This goes to all consumers. Everybody buys things, the wealthy, the rich. They spend more. They buy more things. They pay more taxes. Plus, you recover all the underground income. You collect it from illegals. You collect it from organized crime. You collect it from those who are cheating our tax system now, because everybody consumes, everybody purchases things. So it is a fair way to tax, it's a transparent way to tax, and most importantly, perhaps, it will bring growth to our economy. We've got to have growth to our economy again in order to balance our budget, in order to return to a path to fiscal responsibility. It eliminates, Leland, all of the corporate taxes. So think about the investment that will come back to the United States, the capital that will return, the offshore investments that will come back to the United States. It will make the United States the most favored country in the world from a corporate investment standpoint.
Look, there's a huge number of pluses. You kept using the word fair. I get the idea it's fair because everybody pays the same. But in the end, you're talking about raising taxes on about 90 million people, because about half of Americans don't pay a net federal income tax. Forget good policy. How is it good politics to tell people who are struggling to get by right now, hey, all of a sudden when you go to the grocery store, you're going to pay 23%?
Well, what it does, it eliminates payroll taxes, Social Security taxes, all federal taxes except for the sales tax. And it has a prebate there built in for those who are at the poverty level, where the average family would get a $26,000 credit for which they would get a prebate on every month or every year on that. So that would protect them from what they would now pay taxes on from an income tax standpoint. Potentially, they won't pay that because they'll get a credit towards income, frankly, up front that they would get to be able to use for those essential services for those who fall.
So how are we going to do the prebates and make sure nobody's committing fraud on the prebates and do all of the accounting for all that and all the verification without the IRS?
Well, certainly the Democrat Party wants to embolden and empower the IRS, as you know, with 87,000 new agents. And, you know, we know the IRS is biased against conservatives. It's oppressive to the country. We want to eliminate the IRS as it stands today. The complexity, we spend some $300 billion a year in compliance. Businesses pass those compliance costs, those tax costs onto consumers and higher prices. Quite frankly, and this will lower prices. It's estimated the average price we pay for a good that we purchase is about 22% higher because of the businesses' compliance and tax costs and payroll costs they have to pass on to the consumer. As you know, businesses don't really pay any taxes. They get that from their consumers from the prices that they charge.
I get all
so prices would go down for everybody, but then, again, those who fall within the poverty level would get a prebate. In other words, they would be eligible. They register as a family unit. Every family unit would get a credit or a prebate, as it said actually in the bill itself, that where they would not have to. They would get income to cover what they would pay on their first amount of income that goes to the poverty level.